Are you ready? It's 5:30.
You're good.
Okay. We will call the Public Works Standing Committee of Monday, February 23rd, 2026 to order. Since this is our first meeting, we need to appoint a committee chair and a secretary.
I can be secretary, and you don't want to be chair.
I beg you not to make me chair.
Right, yes. I'll be chair then. Okay, and Patty will be secretary.
And if you're not around, I'll do the minutes.
Okay, all right, and that's okay
My
unless
way.
you want them.
Not AI way.
I will still send you the AI summary.
Do it, that's great.
So, because Patty told me you wanted to actually do them all.
It's too complicated
Okay,
to fill in the gaps.
Okay.
so, yeah.
Anyway, in my opinion.
Okay. Public Works update from the Public Works Director.
We'll run through a few things.
Okay.
Last week, I spent quite a bit of time looking into kind of a protocol, a process that is, I think, good and necessary, and I think it will be a great asset for evaluating speed signs and anything traffic related. I did some looking around, and basically, I talked with, traded some emails with the folks at WWC, and the mayor was in on those. But basically, and looked at what a lot of other towns are doing, and rather than just kind of having a knee-jerk reaction to putting signs up and down, they do a traffic study. And I know that sounds kind of like a lot, but the more I looked into it, it's really not that much, and I think I'm getting kind of excited about it. What you need to have in a traffic study is basically some traffic data, and with all of the new cool tools we have, it's pretty affordable to put out remote sensing devices that will collect oodles of information.
Oh, I love that, that's great.
The two main components of a study are the traffic studies, or the traffic data, which is speed and numbers and direction, and with the right equipment, you can incorporate pedestrian traffic into that. The other part is incident data, which is like crashes, tickets, whatever. I looked into some devices. We can get set up pretty cheap. I'm going to try and put it, if everybody thinks it's a good idea, try and put it into the resort tax budget for streets. We can get two of the little passive ones for about $4,000, and we could set them up on an intersection. They'd measure all the traffic going both ways. They would record speed, direction, numbers, time of day, graph it all out nicely in a report. And the other one is an actual camera system, which would be only one per intersection. And that one is all encompassing. You can collect pedestrian data, you can collect data like, did they do a slow and go? You can, I mean, the traffic one, the more I looked at it, I got really excited because it would be, I think, and this is not on the traffic sign subject, but another subject is to put one on Broadway. So we could get all of our traffic daily, pedestrian. We could get tons of data from it that might be useful for grants, just for
tourism.
For curiosity's sake. And if we had two of them, you could actually track. I talked to people, you can track and tell if people are driving through or stopping, because it actually tags a vehicle as it comes in. So I mean, that's a side.
That would be great.
And then I did talk to the police chief, and he's going to give me all the data they do have for the last 4 or 5 years, GPS data for all their incidents. So we can put that in the GIS system and then quickly just query it. Like if we want to do a traffic study at this intersection, we can query it, pull up all the last 5 years, whatever's happened there. And then we can take our report from our little data collector, our query from our GIS. There's some other components that can go in there that we could collect fairly easy. and then we hand that off to WWC or Great West Engineering or whoever, and they come back with a professional assessment of, yeah, yes, you need to sign there, no, you don't, or maybe, no, you need this, or whatever. I like the process. I think it's very doable and scalable. I don't think it'd be a burden for Public Works to go hang a detector on a pole and let it run for a week. I don't think it'd be very burdensome for us to collect all the traffic data and get it to the engineers, and, so,
That might get kind of addictive.
what's that?
You know, you can move it around at different intersections and it might get
One
addictive.
thing with having, the other thing that would be good about having the data collectors is, I doubt we're gonna have very many traffic studies, but, you know, they would be available to police. I talked to Chief Schrock about this, you know, if you guys wanna put these up and collect, you know, they get a complaint, and everybody's speeding by here, go throw that up for a week. And then you got the numbers, and it'd be a tool for them as well.
And they've done that before, but I think you're gonna get a different answer if you do it from a patrol car versus
Well, yeah, you
a little
put
box that nobody
big
can
box
see.
of a trailer out there, these are smaller than this piece, they're this big, these little things. And you just put them on the back of a stop sign.
I have one request. Can you come at 4:30 tomorrow for public health and safety and do that same spiel, please?
Yeah.
It'll be two of the
And
same people, but the
I'll
audience
probably
may be.
bring my computer, and, I mean, and this is not about public safety, but the camera system, if you get a chance, look at data from the sky. And the software is called Flow, it's AI software. It's cool what you can do. I mean, we could get a lot of data off of Broadway year-round with the camera mounted up high, looking down on an intersection or two that I think, it's not Public Works data, maybe a little bit, but it would be
Interesting.
business, tourism data, whatever.
Yeah, I was thinking for like,
Go ahead.
no, that's good. For like special events
So
or like.
I went on really long about that, so I'm gonna go fast now.
like
Nothing too exciting in water. We still haven't got our parts in for up at the, PRV station. We are getting closer to getting out to bid for the 2026 project. I think the only hangups we have to get out to bid is a little DEQ review left, and,
This is the boring one under the road?
yeah, and then we need to, and I think we can go out to bid before we get the permit, but we do need to get that floodplain
So,
permit tied
so
up.
which water project is this? I'm sorry.
The 2026 one where we're trying to get, or we're not gonna get all of it, we're gonna get a line share of the cast iron lines that are left. They're
Okay.
kind of like in between sections, and we're also gonna tie in Park so that it's not a dead
Okay.
end that freezes. Sewer projects out for review, they should go up for bid pretty soon. The only other thing worth noting is I did talk to the storage tax the other night, and I'll go through this, try and be really quick, just kind of 2025-26 budget, which is the budget we're on right now. Resort tax, we were budgeted for the back truck, which we got and paid for, so that's done. We had a little resort tax budgeted for a dump truck that we could use for hauling snow and big rocks. And we have budgeted a total of $40,000 for that. We spent $35,000 of that, so that's done. We budgeted some money for a compact loader, and we pretty much have all that purchased. We're gonna be about $15,000 to go back to resort tax. EDA street project, we had $100,000 budgeted to go into that to, at the time our estimate was higher than what we had between the grant and our match, so that was to help with that. I want to leave that in there because we have started that project, and see if we can't use that money in more asphalt. Our bid did come in under what was estimated, so, there's a chance we may not need it. The sidewalk incentive program, we budgeted $50,000 for that. So far on that one, I'll just talk about that real quick, I think it's on here. I've had a lot of interest in that. I've got one application in. I realized right after we passed it, and actually before the application went out, that we needed to tune up our applications a little bit with Tennyson. I gave them to him. I'd rattle his cage again today. I haven't got back from him yet, but I think it'll pick up once we get. I've been trying to tell people, hold off when we get the form straight and then you can put in.
Okay.
What was the issue you identified?
I just want to make sure some of that language in there was right, you know, with like who pays who and what and stuff, I wanted the attorney to look at it, he hadn't looked at it yet.
I thought he had looked at it because
No,
it was.
he just looked at the other part.
Oh,
I thought he looked
I
at it.
thought he looked at
Because what I
everything.
remember was the section that there was, that all three signatures, so the contractor has to sign off on it up front
Yeah,
too,
and
so
that
that
wasn't
they're.
on the one that we have right now, and that's kind of what I wanted him to,
Oh, you might have an old one then, because we had added the contractor's signature to it.
Was it
Yeah.
the last meeting?
I think, when I asked him, he was like, oh, no, I didn't look at that. So that's why I said, well, you need to look at it.
Can you make sure he has the final one?
He has looked at it, but yeah, we can follow up.
No, but make sure he has the final one, because we did have the contractor's signature on it. The one that we had passed by council. Unless you want me to.
There's some few other stuff in here. We're running, I guess my point is, we're doing the 2025-26 budget is on mark. I think we're gonna be just fine. For 26-27, the only things I put in for the other night, and I've got maybe a couple things I'm gonna add. I wanna get, a screen so that we can, when we do all these projects, we haul all this material off down to the sewer plant, because it's big rocks, we can't use it for backfilling. It's not very valuable material, but if you screen it, then it is valuable material. So I'd like for us to get a screen so that we can start utilizing that and bringing it back for fill into town. That's part of it. One of the things.
Was that about 45?
Yeah.
Right?
And one of the things I've had where I worked previously was a small truck, like a 1-ton pickup with a sander on it, and we have a 1-ton pickup in our shop that basically in the winter it doesn't do much, it's a little dump truck. I'd like to put a sander on that so that, especially if we're sanding down here in the afternoon or on weekends, we're not having to bring those big trucks down here with their blah, 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 and put a plow on that truck as well for just touching up. You know, we don't get snow, but someday we might, so.
We will, as
Um,
soon as the mountain closes.
I put in to refund the sidewalk incentive program, I put in to refund parks projects for $85,000. I did put in $100,000 to put into our streets account, which would be used for when we do these projects, like water projects, sewer projects, storm projects. We're always on a grant, and the grant is the one thing that they absolutely really, really watch you on with a grant is they won't let you pave 1 square inch more than you have to. So we can only pave the trench this wide, even if right here it's garbage. And they're adamant about that. So we've got pavers in there, we've got everybody working. We need a budget so we can say, hey, this is a bad section, we just want to do the whole thing. We did that on 13th during the FEMA project. We took city money and added to it, and we have a nice street there now rather than something like Platt. It's to not have that. So, that's about it. The other things that I'm gonna add in would be if this traffic study thing looks like a good idea, what I would try and add would be the money to get the devices and get a ballpark price from like WWC or Great West, say, hey, we give you all the data, you guys have to do a traffic study, what's the cost? And if they say X, and we do like 3X in budget for it, so that in the course of the year, if we need to, I don't know that we would, but we could do 3 traffic studies.
One of the things I'm curious of is I got the idea from Jeremy that there's like a little book of, here's what it'll tell you, if you have this many, then you need to, if you have this many, then you need to.
It's a big book though.
Yeah, but can we just get the book, or, you know, is it online available? We have that information all by ourselves.
I think we could get there. I think maybe in the beginning, we see if one of these firms that help us walk through it, 'cause it's a little.
Well, and they said they have done that. They do that for East Helena and
You know,
half a dozen
and
other
just,
towns.
you know, like we pay them, but we get to be part of it so we can learn, then maybe we can do it in-house. But I think it's a possibility. So, that's all I got.
You go ahead.
Parks, yep, I'll shut up, and burn up.
Did you have an idea on those PRB parts on when they're updated? Because my understanding is we were supposed to have them by January.
Well, we're supposed to have them right after the holidays. The last I heard is, they have not left the manufacturer yet, so I'll find out tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, I'll give one last little thing. We had a meeting a while back with Republic on the garbage. I went back down there Friday, 8, 9, 10 days ago. Went up and met with Ryan, and basically all we have to do is hammer out the last little bit for like right now, nothing makes sense in what we're paying for dumpsters. Like we have a dumpster here that I think gets dumped 3 times a week. We pay $125 a month for, and we have one over there that gets dumped once a month that we're paying like $250 a month for. So we're trying to hammer all that out to where everything's like makes sense.
The 250 sounds more accurate for what they're charging businesses downtown.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at the table, we have like 12 dumpsters, I think. They're all over the map. I think it's just a matter of how many every years of garbage that Republic's done it. Some of these prices have been carried over, some have got.
So you're not getting the full
We're trying to
detail
just
that
clean
they're
it
charging
all up.
everyone else.
Oh, no, we don't pay what everything else does.
Yeah,
That's one of the advantages we
And
have.
supposedly he was gonna have that all done pretty quick, but I gave him a week, and today was my day to rattle his cage, and I forgot, so I'm gonna rattle his cage in the morning, but I'm hoping we'll have that.
What's the latest on performance clauses?
They're in there.
We talked about, and they didn't push back on those?
Push back on those.
Fantastic.
So, I think we got everything we want, other than, whereas before, we were always just a set 3% every year.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna be at CPI, capped at 4.5%, so we're gonna have.
I thought we had a choice there. We could choose A or B,
Well,
and
the PPI one, part of that, and I don't even know if I completely understand this, Danae can explain.
I think, because Danae is who did the math and picked which one.
Part of the problem was when they sent that proposal back, well, and they had those tables, one of the sidebars got cut off, and it's printed. So we didn't see all of it. You could see part of it, but it didn't have the end percentage on there. And if we go with the PPI rate, which we can cap at 3%, that starts at a higher rate.
Right.
So we would end up, it would cost more.
Has she done the number since we got the full table?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Well,
so this is the one Danae said, go with this option. This is the one that's cheaper for us.
And this is the one that was in the letter that you wrote in July or whatever. The other problem with, if we were to switch now, that other rate starts about $2 a month higher than what we're paying right now.
That's a problem.
And so we would have to back pay them if we changed it now to go to that higher rate. And the only thing we would gain by it is we'd be capped at 3% instead of 4.5.
So I thought we were,
CPI right now is like, I think it's at 4.2 right now.
I thought we were under the old contract until we signed a new one.
Well,
We signed a new one and told them what the pricing
We had a
range
letter and
was,
we said we were gonna do
Yeah.
consumer price index.
which is what,
There's two options, consumer price index for water, sewer,
Okay.
garbage,
Right?
and there was producer price index for water, sewer, garbage.
Okay, I just didn't think we'd signed a contract yet.
No, but we gave them a letter saying because we had to have some kind of agreement on what the rate was.
Well, the-
And that's what he's saying, is if we go
Right.
back and change the numbers, we've been paying off of our assumption. So if we do a contract
So-
and change it, we'll back
Okay,
along.
see, I thought we were
Well,
under the
I
old
mean,
contract.
I mean, I don't know why.
We're under the old
why would
pricing
you wanna
structure,
change
and if we
the
change
contract
it, we
to
would
higher-
owe a difference.
higher cost?
No, so will this come before council then for approval?
It will.
Okay, because that's what I was, yeah, I didn't realize that we were,
No, I think the council voted for you to write.
Yeah,
that
on the letter of temporary, but we'll still do it when you
Yeah.
sign the
Right,
new
right.
5-year.
okay, okay.
Yeah, I
Patty, go ahead.
remember hearing
Okay.
that same thing in
Okay.
council meeting, that we were still operating under the old contract, I thought.
It's what they actually, it's not that it's the old contract, it was a letter that basically said we're following the terms and pricing of the previous contract.
Okay.
Right,
And the assumption is because that's what the new contract will be. What he was saying is, if we pick a different option where it goes up $2 a month because we're choosing that other option to cap it at 3 rather than at 4.5, we will owe retro because we're not doing what we said we would do.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, I didn't realize that the letter actually said,
Which pricing structure we were
Yeah,
going with?
yeah,
it did,
exactly,
but it was the
because it
same
was
one we
like-
were on. I think that's what you're remembering.
Okay,
yeah,
makes sense.
okay.
When was that contract up? How long have we been doing that?
It was in July, I want to
Oh,
say,
right.
June or July, and they took months to get it back, and then when they got us something, it was a fill-in-the-blank template, so then we built it and sent it to them. But they
Okay.
were also the only one who responded, so.
Mm-hmm, okay, thank you.
Okay.
I'm
Does it,
very glad we've done.
does it have in there how many households we're being charged for? Or is it just simply, we have
I
to
think that's
maintain?
a Danae question.
Yeah, we
but I
provide
think
once a
we-
year.
Okay,
We audit it once a year and adjust the numbers.
so I guess I'm just wondering if we go through with this new, you know,
It'll be next year before we get to change it to just
Okay.
that.
that's, okay.
If you say, hey,
So
we
we end up-
get rid of 300 cans in town, we will be
Right.
paying for those until next year.
Right, okay, but we won't be in default of our clause because we're taking some cans away.
No.
It won't, we're being charged per can, right? Correct?
We're being charged a set price based on X number of cans.
Right.
Are we getting rid of a bunch of kids?
No, if we do our, we've been talking about, the residential trash
The
cans.
mass exodus.
I know, yeah, and that's exodus of
Take it
people.
back.
No, we've been talking about if we do our new ordinance, governing residential trash cans, and if we change it so that you only need 1 can per city lot, then we may, but we were thinking that if we did this, it would be an option. So people would have to come in and say,
I would
I-
talk to Danae about that,
yes,
just to make sure, and I would even talk to Ryan about that. Because I
They-
think our per can rate is based on our volume.
that's
Yeah.
why I'm
And
asking.
they've both been involved with that conversation.
So, I mean, I would hate to get a situation where we have to say, oh, yeah, we gave all these 300 people a break, so now
Well,
you have to pay
What I was
$3 more
going
a month.
to, what I was going to say was, that's why I'm asking, is it based on the number of cans? And if we lower our number of cans, what will happen with the contract? That's why I'm asking that question. And I can ask Danae, that's fine.
That's today, and I would say that if she doesn't have or feel satisfactory in the answer, then we need to actually sit Brian in on that, just.
Well, and what we were gonna say to kind of alleviate that, so it wasn't just like, we're going to let people know, hey, you have 2 cans and you only need 1. It's more that people, if they complain and say they don't need 2 cans, you know, they have a little, like a garage with living quarters in the back and a separate hookup, and they're only using, you know, 1 can and not filling it, and they call them, you can say, well, you're on 1 lot. As long as you don't overfill your garbage can, you can go down to 1 can.
And
So it's not going to
what
be
we
like
do right now is we
everyone.
currently do it based on their water statement, so the billing, if you have a water
If
statement.
you have water.
And so
Mhm.
there's one specific resident in town who has 2 water meters because the man cave has a separate water meter and he has 2 cans. So that's,
It's not a VRBO or anything.
No.
well, yeah, it is, but you could call it a short-term or long-term, but it's just, it's got a bedroom facility and stuff out there, but it's just not in use and it doesn't generate trash. So that's, again, what's consistent. And so Danae's been part of these conversations from the get-go.
Not having a can then.
Well, and then that's why, you know, when we do this ordinance, you know, it's also going to address the fact that if you consistently have overflowing garbage, you
And
have to get
How do
to,
we know that?
you'll know by,
How are we gonna know they're
Who's gonna go check?
Well, I would-
Kevin's not, he's the garbage guy.
well, they do in, I don't know, Ann talked to the people in Billings and stuff like that, and the garbage guys do.
Billings does their own garbage.
No, I realize that, but you can still,
They have cameras on their truck,
Yeah,
that's how
okay.
they know.
that's how they know they have cameras on their trucks, yeah.
They have cameras on Republic trucks too, that's how they know they actually empty
Yeah, but up
top.
yeah, they have them where they don't, and not the downtown trucks, just the truck on the go.
See, and that's all stuff we have to talk about on this, because, I mean, if you have, I mean, it's, what is it, $100 fine if you're, for, you know, if your can is overflowing. So how are we gonna know to assess that? I mean,
Well, I mean, that actually came up in the contract conversations when we were talking about it, not in this perspective, but about overflowing cans.
yeah,
And it became a moot point because, you know, what we were gonna do, who had to report it, blah, 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 and there was Tanae and I and Ryan, and I think Dennison was there, and it basically became, well, I think I asked the question, how do we know if the can's overflowing? We don't. So it's not.
Unless we get a complaint of garbage.
Yeah.
It's not a
there.
big deal,
Right,
because like, we don't even know if it is or not. I mean, we will know, I mean, probably the best way to know right now would be through the Bear Committee.
Yeah.
yeah.
They're
Yeah.
walking up and down the alley if they consistently see somebody's overflowing, but outside of that,
Put a camera on every can.
yeah.
No, people, what happens is people call dispatch and say there's trash out, and then there's a
Yeah.
citation from there, so.
Yeah, and I think that would be, yeah, you know, I mean, if you
I mean, there's
consistently
parts
have,
of town, like you go down to Liberty and Johnson, Lane, Row, whatever that alley is, it's always garbage on the ground there, all summer long. It doesn't get called in.
Interestingly, there's a bear down there too.
Yeah, there's a bear down there, but, I
yeah.
mean, everybody, it doesn't get called in, so I don't know that you can rely on people calling in to say,
It actually does get called in, which is part of why we updated the ordinance, so we can have something to write them a fine for.
hey, what, I mean, do you think that it gets called in every time it happens though, like that's an accurate way to
No.
track it?
I don't think we have to get 100% compliance to improve the situation either.
No, but most people, if their garbage can is overflowing, they're gonna want, you know, I mean, if I were consistently overfilling my garbage can, I would have a second can. You know, because I don't want my garbage in my house, I don't want it in my, I don't know, a reasonable person would, I guess.
There you go.
But I understand, you know, I mean, I understand there'll be people that
Yeah,
stuff,
that's
I mean, if it's a
like
one-time
20
thing,
others,
like at Christmas where everybody's throwing everything away, you know, that kind of thing, or you have a big party, yeah, that's gonna happen. But if it's consistent, I would think that, I don't know, I don't know. I would hope that, it would be reported either by the neighbors or, you know, the bear people, because there's garbage, or, you know, the police driving through the alley and there's garbage all over. I don't know.
But sometimes it's a faulty can,
think-
not
Yeah.
fair, or
Yeah.
not the
That's
person.
correct.
What?
Mayor, do you remember at the Bear meeting when the lady was sitting, they were working on her computer, we were talking about trash cans, and I brought up the one down there, and she was like, and I had no clue it was that bad, so I was grading the alley, it was disgusting. And she piped up and said, oh, I live right there, we've reported that numerous times. So, I mean,
Yep.
To what effect?
yeah, I don't,
We have a new ordinance now, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Wonder who she
So I'll get with Danae on that, Mike.
Okay, Patty, you have a question?
Oh, I forgot. Well, back on the traffic study and the devices, you said that there were two options, said the camera, one or two cameras, and then, what was the other data
well,
collector?
there's like, the first one is just like a little radar box,
Okay.
and it just picks up speed, direction, time of day, that kind of stuff. The other one is actually a camera mounted up, and so in order to do an intersection, you need two of those, one to go one way, one to go the other way. With a camera, if we, you know, we'd have to figure out how to mount it, but you could mount it high enough up, you could film the whole intersection with one device, and that would give you all that same data, plus, it would give you, pedestrian traffic and stop, you know, whether stop sign compliance, I guess I'd say. The two devices are about $4,000 roughly. The one camera system, with the software, but no mounting hardware is about $3,500, so they're probably about the same price in the end.
You and I will have a conversation with Lonnie on budgeting stuff, because when resort tax, if we hit the $5,000 for the project, then we can do it as a capital expense under resort tax. So
Yeah,
there's a couple of different rules and things we have to take into account.
Yeah, we can figure it out.
Were you leaning towards one or the other?
At first I was leaning towards the little radar deals, just because they're so slick, and the more I started looking at the cameras, I really like, they give you so much more.
The radars are more portable. We could move them from
Yeah,
intersection to intersection to
They
intersection.
both have, the radars would be really fast to deploy, pull down, the data's instantly available, it's already summarized for a traffic study, it's in a report. The cameras would be a lot harder to deploy, we'd be able to collect more data. And the cameras might not work ideally for all situations. I mean, in order to make sure you can cover a lot of situations, you might need two cameras,
Okay.
so you could get both lanes.
Yes, go ahead.
At the meeting 2 weeks ago, you asked, for a simpler MOU. Have you seen the MOUs in our packet for this week's meeting?
Fred, is that the one that we looked at Friday? Yeah, the one that, the WCS, right?
WWC put, yeah.
WWC, yeah. No, I like
We went through that in great detail in the last one, so
Okay,
yeah.
so this is all, you've read it, you're okay with it? And-
Yeah, it
Okay.
seems straightforward to me.
Okay, all right, I know you wanted something simpler, and I just
Yeah, no,
wondered.
I think that's what it's what we need, and it's fairly black and white, and
Okay, all right, that's all I had. Questions,
Okay, Parks Board and update. Did you have one?
It's gonna be sustainability now, because Parks Board is, Parks is here, sustainability is Jeremy,
Right.
so you won't get a sustainability.
I was there, but Jeremy was there too. I didn't know if Jeremy could get off work, so I went, and,
Oh, for the sustainability?
we
Okay.
talked about, I forgot what we talked about. We talked about the PSAs that they're gonna make for the, recycling. And, I don't, gosh, sounds like they're ready to go, it's just, there's a financial, impediment, about paying the videographer, but, it was a good meeting. I mean, it was like a lot more energy than usual, so.
Okay.
But, anyway, they haven't made any PSAs yet, but I think they're ready to roll, so
Okay.
that's all I have.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out how to fund the.
I think they need $500.
And normally, I think we could take that out of recycling, but we're just I gotta go over it some more with Bonnie, but when I looked prior to, I saw something come through, an email, that actually went to Lonnie, asking about it, she forwarded it to me, and we looked at the budget, and we're at probably 80% of the budget for Kyle right now, and we gotta make it through June, so. And it's not a big deal if we blow one line item out, but we don't wanna blow the bottom line out, that's what I'm a little,
Okay. So I saw, Lonnie had sent over the, cash in and cash out for our resort tax board meeting, and it didn't look like Kyle's salary was showing up on that. Is she accounting for that in a different spot?
Yeah, that's not in resort tax, that's in recycling.
Recycling, no, I know that, but she gives us like the whole everything, like all the cash in for all the city accounts and all the cash out for all the city accounts. And it didn't look like Kyle's salary was coming out of that, and I was gonna ask her about it, but I just forgot, and I thought maybe you would know. Because our total cash in our resort tax, in our recycling budget seems to be high again, and that happened last year, and she had to adjust it. So I'm wondering if it's Kyle's salary that's not being actually line itemed out of there.
When she pulled it up the other day and we looked at it, she said, oh, you're already at 75% for salary.
For Kyle, okay.
Yeah.
So it was, budget reports for resort tax, and it was the cash was it the revenue, the expense? I think it was it cash report?
Recycling's not in resort tax budget.
No, but she sends us all the general fund, she sends us, that's the resort tax, let's see. So, yeah, she sends us everything, because the resort tax is its own little section on there. And it just had on there, let me look.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Because it has sewer, solid waste, maybe water. I just got it open here real quick, I'm sorry. Statements.
Where's the PSAs are gonna display at the theater?
Yeah.
That's cute.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The little monitors or whatever, how do you make sure that somebody doesn't come and just grab them off?
Well, I think they have a little locking, you can put a cable on them, but I mean, it's, if somebody really wants to steal one, they're gonna
They're gonna do it.
One of the nice things about the monitors is theoretically they're small enough that 99.9% of the people aren't even gonna notice that they're there.
Yeah.
Because one of the other things you have to worry about is people jockeying with the data as well.
There's,
And so-
the ones that are, you know, just the radar ones, I think they're about that big and they're about that thick.
Okay.
And they literally showed them, just putting them right on the backside of like a stop sign.
That's fun.
And they're pretty discreet. I mean,
It's a great idea.
So,
But not all intersections have.
this is what she sent out. She sent out these cash accounts.
That's not the only
And
mounting
it shows
option.
here, under solid waste, that the beginning balance for cash in recycling was $370,000. We received $14,000, and there's been nothing dispersed
Yeah.
out of that. So his salary,
he's getting paid.
yeah, I'm like,
I don't know
so,
what that is.
I know, so his salary must be being paid out of another account, and then she'll do a journal entry or something.
Yeah, I don't know
I'm
what that
like,
is.
because it's, like, there's no way we have $370,000 in recycling, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, because that's a lot. With an ending balance of $385,000. So, and that happened last year when we were doing budget. She had to go in and do some journal entry. So I'll get with Monty on that. That's an admin and finance thing. Just as long as recycling center is still doing okay and not going to.
Yeah, I just feel like maybe we should like to get a little closer before we just throw $500 away when we may wish we hadn't come June. And like you said, like Lonnie said, she wasn't concerned about that salary line going negative as long as there was enough in that other
If
part
the
of
bottom
the
line
fund
stays there, yeah.
to cover it. We don't have to do a budget amendment or anything, but if we don't have enough in the fund, then that's bad.
And I'll add an additional to that. What council said when they passed that initially is $6 a month. We're gonna do the very best job we can do for $6 a month. So the question is,
I don't know what that is, 'cause I think it's $100 and some thousand a year is the total budget.
no, the $6 is per residence is what we charge, is
No,
$6.
We are just showing, well, we got $14,000 into it for January. So if you take 14K times,
That's more than
Well,
100.
yeah, it has been more
But
than
what I'm saying is, council was not open to changing the rate, so
168.
we have to make it fit within that budget.
Yeah.
And so the question is, if we can't, what do we stop doing instead? Now, with the glass, that may help us, or some of these other things, but we've got to balance that budget in its own little world.
So that's about $168,000 a year, which is kind of what I remember it being, what we
Yeah, I don't know what
budgeted
that
for.
360 number is.
I know, well, we had a bunch left over last year, but it wasn't, now all of a sudden I don't think we should, I'll just get with Lonnie because I don't think that's accurate, again. Because like I say, there's no set salary coming, not set,
Will you
I'm
let
sorry,
us know when you
Kyle.
find out?
Kyle's salary has not coming out of that for I'm sure he got paid in January. Okay, all right, go ahead.
I wanted to ask the backstory of what's going on with the Park Board and the Merman and this recycle PSA. And I apologize for not knowing this.
Sustainability Board.
Yes,
Oh, the
sustainability.
Sustainability Board, okay.
They are going
What's happening?
to, the Red Lodge Theater Group are going to make, we hope to be funny, short PSAs to encourage people to recycle more and be more green, and,
Okay, I didn't know that.
that came up in the fall, and they were willing to do it, and so we wrote up a few scenarios, and they're gonna act them out, and we're hoping they'll be cute and funny, and get more people to recycle.
Clean up, okay,
And that's what.
thank you.
That's that.
I didn't
The
know.
Bear Committee is looking at doing something separately, but that won't be city funds at all.
Yeah.
That'll be, help take care of your trash, protect yourself, protect the bear.
Okay.
Good.
So, resolution number 3730, authorize, submission of a step application, action two. So
So-
this isn't on the agenda, I mean, we haven't had it up for discussion before, so this will be something we'll have to say, yeah, we're okay voting on this tomorrow night.
The coal thing,
It's for the Montana Coal Endowment Grant
Gotcha.
and our GL grant.
okay.
And what happened is, there was an earlier email kind of mentioning this, the deadline was coming up and it got missed, and so on a follow-up email. But basically, we have to take, in order to put in for this phase 4 and have somebody else pay for most
Stormwater.
of this
for.
stormwater phase 4, we need to submit the grant.
And this would be for a project like in 2020. I think its funding is in 2027, is when it comes out, 28 be awarded. Either 28 or 29 would be one that, if we make it all the way through, when we would actually do the work.
But I just want to make sure everyone's understands what we're gonna be asking, to be voted on, for tomorrow night, because we're not, it's just voting to approve,
To authorize the
apply,
mayor to sign
authorize
it, yeah.
to actually
But,
apply
but,
for it.
but in
We want that.
fairness, what it ultimately is, if we get that money in the future, there's gonna be $125,000 match, which we will pay out of stormwater,
Right.
but that's in a future project. There will also be, as an FYI, there will be at the podium, a little survey/signature thing. Just, they like to have signatures and have people say, yes, we think it's a great idea to have somebody else pay for our project.
With we've been reevaluated in Red Lodge. Normally, in the past, we were maxed out at $500,000 for a MSEP grant and $125,000 for our GL grant. They go through and do these economic studies every so often and then re-score communities. I don't know how it works. We somehow got scored where to be a more needful community than we were before. So now we can get $750,000 instead of $500,000.
Great.
The other thing that we're putting in on this funding package is, there's a kind of a one-time grant application coming out for this same funding cycle. Well, I think it's called the Montana Resiliency Fund. And we're putting in for that too. And if we were to get the $750, the $125, and the resiliency grant money, then phase 4 would be full grant paid for. But that won't happen. We'll end up having to pay something, but that'd still be, if we got all three, we would leverage $1 for probably 3 times at least. So.
No, that's great. Do anybody have any questions on that? You're all okay voting on that
Hope we
tomorrow
don't
night?
get too spiffy and we don't look needy anymore. We fix our sidewalks.
We're a bougie community, so you guys just have to pay.
I don't know if stormwater and sewer counts as bougie, but it is a very significant, if you look at what we've been able to get done over the last couple of years and what's scheduled over the next couple, it's because we've been taking $1 and turning it into 3, 4, 5.
Yes. So, the update on the 50/50 sidewalk program, you already, gave us that.
I'm just curious, how did that person find the application?
Oh, she's been after me since it first got whispered.
Okay.
Oh.
It's the roads out there.
Oh, the run's out there.
Oh.
Okay, I got
Yes.
it. Okay,
So then that definitely needs some work, so
Okay.
that, we've had complaints on that sidewalk, so.
but anyway.
It'd be a great charter project, right there on, big chunk of sidewalk right there. If that's our first one, that'd be cool.
Yes, did you say you gave money back from that program from last year? Back to
No.
the-
No.
That was
we're
the
keeping-
brand new one.
This was a brand new.
We're gonna try and get another 50 in the upcoming budget
Okay,
cycle.
all right.
Request for 50 again.
Yeah, it's the first time I've heard of it, so,
Yeah. So, do you feel we need to do some marketing of it to get the word out?
I think maybe, I think, here's what I'd like, I'll throw this out for you to consider. Let me get Dennison's thing back, get the forms perfect, get them all printed out, and then maybe we should see if the newspaper would like to report upon it,
Okay.
and then
You can
see what happens.
Oh, I
And
have
we
some,
could also, send it out to, in the Google group,
Yeah,
that its applications are
sure,
available.
well, yeah, whatever, put it out and ask.
yeah. okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just say, I have some friends that want it, so I would, what if I could just hand them an application?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah, if you know someone who needs a new
he needs
sidewalk.
it, he needs it.
Maybe it'd be a hint, hey.
No, he knows, he keeps asking me.
Do you know that you have a bad sidewalk, Lola?
I know.
Why don't you go over there and trip and hurt your shoulder?
I know.
No, I'm kidding.
No. Okay.
But then he
thank you.
needs.
And, Dave, Mayor, were you able to talk to Mike about the Parks project in Pike Park? Or do you want to save
We've
that for another
had a
time?
conversation, right now, just to bring everybody in, let me think what I think you're saying.
Yeah.
We were looking at, as Main Street Program is coming out with some different potential grants, I think the answer is, we didn't feel like pulling the plug on a project if the momentum is going.
Okay.
But at the same time, we're not pushing it, kicking and dragging and screaming, knowing that there's a potential we might be able to get that money from someplace else. Is that the question you're talking
Yeah, so
about?
I just, when I was at the Main Street Program meeting, last week, the grant opportunities, will be open up again in November. It's not gonna be 2 years until that grant opens back up again, because the Roosevelt Center will be finished with theirs and have it closed out. So, they're looking for shovel-ready projects downtown, and I know that, the Pride Park rehab project is shovel-ready, because you're ready to do it. With the Roosevelt Center, it was one of the bigger grants they got. They actually were able to get $65,000. And so, with the resort tax,
Move that through.
Montana Main Street Program, so it's Montana, it's the state of Montana funds. And so, I know the mayor had wanted to apply for it last year, but we didn't have it all, we didn't have our ducks in a row. We literally had 4 days to do this. So we didn't know if we wanted to, submit that for that. It could be up to, usually they're around 50,000, but this last project, they got 65. And, maybe it's something where we.
When's the deadline for it?
The grant project open up, November of 26. So it would put your project off until the following spring, it'd be 27, so you could do the project.
And like I said, the thought was, we think we have the momentum going, we don't want to pull the plug on it, but we won't
Yeah, I mean-
push it kicking and dragging either.
Yeah, when I went to the resort tax with that project, I did not go there wanting to get it funded 100%.
Yeah.
I was asking for a chunk, and I was gonna go find money, and then resort board just said, we'll pay for it. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna argue with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and in
Okay.
fairness, for the same reason Main Street will, it's a very prominent
Yeah, no.
visual aid for our
You know,
town.
and I guess, so I don't have, fundamentally, I don't have a problem with partially funding it with a grant. I don't like the idea of, of changing horses in the middle of a stream like this, because, we do have good momentum going right now. We've got the money to do it. We could go down to cancel it, hope for some grant money, we don't get it all, think whatever, it could
Mhm.
fizzle out. And I think it needs done,
Okay.
But-
No, and that's
I
fine.
guess I'm not totally against it, it's up to you guys.
Okay.
It really is.
Well, the only reason why, I had brought it up was because it was a shovel-ready project, ready to go, and it would be the type of project that they're looking for this grant. It's right on Broadway, it's supposed to help enhance tourism, something that the locals and the tourists would enjoy,
But
and
they wouldn't fund it all, would they?
No, I don't think they would fund it all. So we would still have to have resort tax as a match, you know, for it to finish up the
Is
project.
there, you know, I know, like, in Parks Board meeting the other night, there was talk about redoing the mural on the wall
Mhm.
there.
Yeah, see, something like that, this would
I
pay for
mean,
that.
could we just
Mhm.
more, maybe the growth of this project into something that fits that grant?
Absolutely. That would absolutely fit this project. So
You know,
that would
I
absolutely,
don't
anything
know.
that beautifies downtown or create, like the wayfinding signs was all paid, was not all paid for, but it was paid, the downtown ones were paid for from this program, the Main Street
I
program,
mean,
so.
yeah, you know, I think we can find other places for sure.
Yeah, it just has to be in that corridor, Broadway or Hauser, and it has to fit those,
And
type
it's
of.
not trails or sidewalks, it's not land acquisitions, they have 2 or 3 things that they
Yeah.
don't do.
They don't do parking lot,
Yep.
technically, you know, like they wouldn't redo the parking lot at the Civic Center or
Could it have
whatever.
anything to do with the entrance signs at all, or no? Is
Yes,
that- It could?
The gateway, whatever.
'Cause I know Sherry was asking me about doing better lighting down there and some landscaping stuff.
Yep.
That could be a shovel-ready project pretty quick, you know?
Yeah, so stuff like that would definitely, as long as it's in our mapped area, which is pretty big now, it goes all the way down to the roundabout, and then all the way up to, where does it go? All the
Sherry,
way to-
have any plans for the bathrooms? Did she mention that?
It goes up there.
Bathrooms,
She didn't, not in your
Going over.
purview, I guess,
Okay.
for right now, anyway.
Okay, well, if you think about that, and maybe mention it to, you know, if we can get a shovel-ready project to continue in Hyde Park, that'd be great, or some other one downtown.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it has to be from the roundabout south? Is that what you
Yeah, it goes all the way
that's
to,
Roosevelt, I
it's
think.
past Roosevelt, yeah.
said? Okay,
Yeah,
so
'cause Roosevelt
you'll-
is
I think like the
19th.
19th Street, yeah, so our new park, you know, when we do our new
New
park, that would be, I think we could do stuff there too, so, okay. Any public comments?
Just a random thing, but, do we have an RV dump in town?
Town pump.
The city doesn't, but there are ones that, like, Town Pump has one,
And it's actually workable?
yep.
I thought they shut it off, or maybe,
I see cars there every time I'm
Yeah,
there.
what they shut off was the potable water
Yeah.
outside.
In the winter, I think, right?
Yeah. No, they're not doing potable water anymore, no, because they ended up with huge water bills, because somebody, I think, was, yeah.
Filling their tanks up.
But yeah, filling up, like, I don't know.
I've
Of
seen
you,
that
water,
before.
I know, so,
Thank you,
okay,
Dan.
well, I have
yeah.
a question for my, the EDA, 100,000.
The street grant.
Yeah, is that, what does that include? That's the drains and fixing the streets?
No, that's like a 14-block project.
Pavement, curb, and gutter, I think is where you're
$3.9
going.
million total, I think.
So that includes paving the streets to the new curb and gutter?
New curb and
And
gutter.
paving to the new gutter?
Yeah, there's not gonna be any gravel
Right.
on those streets. So,
So all the places now where some people went in on the slide and put asphalt in front of their house so it wouldn't have to
coming
be.
out.
That's how it's coming. Is there a plan for this summer season of 26? Have you spaced out areas that you're going to do
We're gonna do the whole thing, hopefully.
this year?
Yep.
When would you start? Don't know. I guess a lot of
It's up to the I mean, technically, it's up to the contractor. They have, I can't remember what the contract days on that one are. They're like 100, I don't wanna say, but they have a set amount of time to get it done.
And they make more money if they do it staging once than if they do it staging twice.
Yeah, they wanna get in here and get it done and get out and not have to
Right.
have winter shutdown.
Staging's a big deal.
The little bit that I've heard, 'cause technically that project was awarded, we paid a bond bill, so it was, and then we shut it back down for the winter. I heard a rumor that they're asking about starting in March, and the engineers were kind of like, really? In March?
It's a light winter, but if we're gonna get
But
snow, it's gonna be.
I have a
January,
feeling
February.
we're gonna see a mob, if the weather continues like this, we're gonna see a mobbing in sometime late March or April for sure.
Really? That soon? And, you know, idea how long the project will take? 60 days, 90 days, 120 days?
I'd have to look at the contract, I can't
Ballpark.
remember.
It's 100 and
Hundred and
something.
60 maybe is on that one, I can't
Really?
remember, contract days.
One more question, sorry. So,
We're running a special tonight.
So, will they do one section of blocks, do curb and gutter and paving, and then go to another section, start over? Or will they do curb and gutter for the whole?
Yeah, that'll be up to them.
It's up
Yeah.
to the contractor.
Obviously, but I'm just curious if there was,
I mean,
no.
My guess is you'd have a phase one that's going through and doing the curb and gutter, and then starting behind them, you're doing the paving, and then they're kind of in track like that. Kind of like on the Empire State Building, they were putting carpet on the first floor, they were still putting up the 20th.
And how far in from the curb, the existing curbs, the old curbs they're gonna replace? Will, I understand it's a machine, but have I,
but probably what they,
2 feet?
I don't know whether they'll use typically for, curb, like, for this kind of curb where you've got an apron on the curb, like, they're gonna probably form that.
Well, they will.
Well, again, it's their means of,
That'd be good
it's
because-
up to the contractor, but,
Exactly, but if they form it, they're gonna, theoretically, might take less of the boulevard space.
The boulevard space is technically the stuff on that side of the curb.
yeah, I don't know.
So the boulevard,
that side,
meaning on the sidewalk and the house side, not, so the boulevard isn't,
The boulevard's on the house side of the curb.
right.
Yeah. So,
But, I mean, the back of the curb's gonna be where it is on the plans, whether they use a machine or whether they form it.
I'm just, I understood, I'm looking at impact. How far into the boulevard will the disruption or will the?
Oh, yeah. Putting in the curb, they're gonna mess up 1 or 2 feet as workspace, basically.
Yeah, I'm just curious, if I don't know, how far in from the existing, where the curb is gonna go, which is gonna be pretty close to where the curb is now.
Well, they have to put everything back.
Yeah.
And replant it, whatever they tear up. So
So
they're
we have-
gonna minimize how far they go.
Good point.
So we have city trees, city boulevard trees. We're concerned about.
But if they end up getting damaged, you'll get a new one.
Okay, great.
Hopefully
right,
they
We
won't.
love our trees.
14 plus, where we start, where's it end, do you know?
Okay, we'll adjourn, and if
Thank
any
you.
questions after,